his own command center, so perhaps just planning on answering by putting up a command center of his own rather than trying to do a timing push to even the game out. Although with that back entrance open for 13 now, it will be a lot easier to get into 13's base, as it seems he does not have any additional defenses back there. He has not built another pylon or any cannons back here, so he is going to rely strictly on his army composition and the few cannons he has back at his nexus to defend his main base. Putting up another gateway here and a Twilight Council again, going to go for that blink technology, and it looks like we're going to see a battle here very quickly. There are a decent amount of Marauders and tanks moving across the map, and they're going to go to this choke that they broke down earlier with those destructible rocks. One Stalker from 15 going down, or I'm sorry, 13 going down very quickly there. He does have a couple Zealots warping in here, and it looks like he is going to be a little bit short on units right now. Siege mode coming into play for Fear, so he is going to be able to siege up 13's base, and 13 losing a lot of units very carelessly because he was trying to take down that one extra siege tank. And it looks like that siege tank going to be just in range of all of these cannons here. 13 trying to move out to take care of that, but the combined fire of those Marauders and siege tanks is going to take that down. 13 in a very bad position right now because he does not have enough units to deal with this, nor does he have enough gateways to quickly warp in units to deal with this. And once again, going for the fast DT tech, although he is going to need to get some gas very quickly here to deal with this because he does not have a lot of gas right now, only 120, which I don't think is even enough. I believe he needs 125 to get a Dark Templar. Yeah, it's 125, so he will need a little bit more gas in order to even get one Dark Templar out. And currently I do not see any Ravens on the map as of yet. If we take a look at the units overlay here, it looks like there are strictly Marauders, Marines, tanks, and one lone Hellion out on the map. 13 does have good mineral saturation on his main base, but on his expansion, but he is losing pretty much his whole tech tree right now, which is very unfortunate for him. And looking at the production overlay, he does not have any units coming out right now other than some more probes and a couple more cannons. Although once this base has been taken out, these siege tanks will be able to basically siege up on this cliff and do a very, very significant amount of damage here. It looks like 13 going to be getting in some Dark Templars now. Only enough gas to currently warp in one, so he's going to have to try to do as much damage as possible, taking down one tank already. And it looks like he's going to have to move in here, although that DT getting caught up trying to get to this other siege tank and able to take down the second siege tank. No scans for Fear right now, so one scan going down, although it looks like it was out of position. He does not see this DT because he scanned back in the main thinking that that was where he needed to be able to see. And this DT is going to be able to take down these siege tanks, but I don't know if this is going to be enough because 13 of course only has one DT still, and the Dark Shrine is out of position, and the last scan going down, able to take out 13's only remaining DT. If only probes left to fight, I don't think that he's going to be able to do enough damage against these Marauders here to make a significant impact here. So going to lose pretty much all of his probes. Taking a look at the unit overlay here, we can see he has a lot of probes before, already down to 26, trying to take down these Marauders, and one more Marauder going down, but still 4 to deal with, and there are a couple Zealots here trying to get in the mix as well. But again, 13 just losing so many of his worker units, I don't think that this is going to get him back into the game. Of course, his tech tree has also been completely wiped out, so basically starting from square one, only has gateways and a forge. He has no cybernetics core, no citadel, no Dark Templar technology, so he is going to be starting from square one once again. And if we look at the income tab here, we can see that 13 is vastly behind right now, although now that he is getting his probes back on his mineral line, he is catching up a little bit, but still a significant lead right now for Fear, and the DT technology that really had the possibility of switching this game around for 13 is no longer an option. So he's going to have to figure out another way to deal with this. It looks like he may be trying to put up a hidden expansion out here, possibly to throw his enemy off and make him think that he is just trying to turtle in his base and last for as long as possible. But it looks like these siege tanks moving in just a little bit too close to that cannon, and that cannon going to be able to do a lot of damage to that siege tank. Although the Marauders and siege tanks able to fire down that cannon before it was able to take out the siege tank there. So it looks like 13 is in a very, very bad position. He does have the secret nexus up, but I don't think that is going to be enough to get him back into this game. He really needs to get more gateways up and get more units on the map right now, because he is quickly losing his base right now. All of his Zealots going down, and he is going to lose that pylon, which unfortunately didn't affect any of the gateways or warp gates that he had up, but he is going to lose one of his warp gates out of the front entrance, and force once again to bring his probes off the mineral line to defend against this Terran push. And now the pylons at the engines have been taking down 13 and will no longer be able to build cannons. I would expect him to GG very soon here. He is in the negative for his supply. He is supply block officially right now. And it looks like Fear is just getting ready to macro up a large amount of infantry, throwing down 2 more barracks here. And he does have some Vikings moving out on the map right now. Fear actually has a lot of excess minerals right now. Not sure exactly what's going on with that. He apparently is not really keeping up with the macro right now. But it looks like 13 going to try to run away his probes and keep them alive so that he can try to sneak over into this base. But of course there was one tank from Fear. It looks like Fear is going to spot this hidden expansion. So 13 not able to really get anything going with this expansion before it's found out. And he is immediately going to move his tank into siege mode to take this out. So it looks like 13 is pretty much out of this game right now. He has no more gateways, only a couple pylons and a handful of probes. So it looks like 13 is going to lose this game. 13 losing with a 2-1. He lost the first game, managed to win the second game with some very good stalker blink micro, and then losing the second game. I think he just was not prepared to deal with that push from the siege tanks. He definitely needed either the blink technology or the charge technology from the zealots so that he could get within range to attack those siege tanks before they were able to do any significant damage with their long range. And for some reason 13 putting down another gateway here, trying to stay in this game, but he is going to GG now. And 13 is going to be knocked out in the first round. Fear is going to move on to round 2. So anyways, GG 13, and we will move on to the next game.